Today we'll be taking a look at a professional match of StarCraft 2, a PvP set on the glorious map of Neo-Humanity. In the upper left corner here, the red Protoss, the shield toss of the matchup. It is ShoWTimE. Throwing out the GLHF, I like it. And their opponent, the blue probes in the bottom right here, the sword to the shield. It is MaxPax. ShoWTimE, the defensive, at least we think, defensive toss, shield toss, of course, in the matchup, up against MaxPax, whom I would bet would be the aggressor. The sword of Protoss. We will see. Will those archetypes actually hold true? Will they stick to what we believe they are? Probes heading across. One going to be pulled off the line for ShoWTimE just to follow MaxPax around? How much damage will MaxPax get done? Oh, risky. Risky move going through the mineral line. ShoWTimE not taking the path to MaxPax's base, though. Where are you going? Problems, shenanigans, pylon shape shenanigans here in the bottom. Okay. Proxy something, obviously. Based on the positioning, I'm going to guess a Stargate, because there's no ground path right here with the minerals blocking that. Stargate, indeed. Okay. The question then that we have to ask and wonder is what will come from the Stargate? MaxPax opting for a Stalker first. ShoWTimE readying the two Adepts. The PvP opener we all know and love. MaxPax, really? Well, I suppose it's fair. Actually, MaxPax saw the probe leave ShoWTimE's base, and that probe never showed up at MaxPax's base. So obviously, something's up. Something's fishy. Did we see? We saw everything. All right. Zealot makes its way over here. What's the choice? It is going to be an Oracle. Immediately target down that pylon. The pylon, of course, having less shields, less health than the Stargate, going to be the prime target. The Adepts, though, might have some choice words about this decision. Cancels the Oracle. Oh. Alright. Slapping the Nexus down, the Adepts going to hunt down, kill the Zealot before they can shade away. Now, MaxPax also has a Stargate and has been opting for Phoenix, just barely getting that wall up before the probe is destroyed. The Phoenix going to stare angrily. The building goes down. The shades are in the natural. Phoenix number 2 pops out of the Stargate, which means the Phoenixes can take turns lifting the Adepts and actually get rid of it. Phoenixes, of course, dealing bonus damage to light, not usually something that comes into play and when fighting things other than Mutalisks. But we have to remember other units in the matchups have light target, or light tags, I should say. They are light targets. MaxPax feeling a little confident here without even enough Phoenix energy. Just one of them now getting enough energy to lift up again. We're gonna lift one probe. Third Phoenix. Here we get 2 probes then. Huge value. Immense value here. The Stargate probes used for combat just as much as other units. Bit more than the other workers, though. Probes tend to see more action, more violence than the other workers, I'd wager. Phoenixes flying around ShoWTimE's base. Losing a few workers. Not nothing, but also not game ending at this point in time. Is MaxPax just going mass Phoenix. I doubt it, because there's a Robo on the way. Why wouldn't you get another Stargate? Extra Phoenix. Phoenix Eye. Phoenixes. We've been over this. The Stalkers. Blink's about halfway down for ShoWTimE, who so far is looking at really just Stalker tech, which, you know, makes it sound simple, sounds inferior to, say, MaxPax's Immortals and Phoenix, but it actually is a little more standard. Blink Stalker Disruptor can be a dominating composition. The probe is actually making some decent progress on this. Eventually, you know, give it 10 more minutes, this probe will actually kill the Stargate, which is a choice. That is something that one can do. We see a Robo on the way for ShoWTimE, a Twilight Council for MaxPax. Thus far, MaxPax has been the aggressor, but that could of course change. ShoWTimE did get Blink for those Stalkers already set up in a bit of a defensive pose. Blink picking, just barely not picking one off. The Stalkers actually can still hit the Phoenix, so recall those back to the natural. Which means ShoWTimE has just a little bit of breathing room. Especially while MaxPax opts for the Dark Shrine. We're seeing Charge, Immortal, and probably Archons going to be the composition for our blue Protoss. How do you feel about that, Protoss players? PvP composition. Are you a Stalker Disruptor individual? Are you a Charge Lot Immortal Archon lover? Do you go... I don't know. What composition? What build? I make pylons. Do you cannon rush in PvP? The probe at long last going to be relieved from its duty. Stalker takes over. Friend, buddy, Stalker. The buddy system, of course, very important for all things StarCraft. MaxPax does have a pylon coming up here. Forward warp-in pylon, I'm guessing, despite the lack of gateway. Dial-up pylon, still useful. Dark Shrine did finish. Yes, it did finish. And now we're flinging observers across the map. The Phoenix gonna head out again. The Dark Templar going to be warped in up here. What's our observer count for ShoWTimE? We've got one out on the map, one set up defensively. Might have to be moved around a bit though. Just one observer. If MaxPax commits to more Dark Templar, that observer could have quite a bit of work cut out for it. Oh, the Prism on the other side sends a DT. Stalkers hold position, going to block the Dark Templar. Second one comes into the natural though. Observer, where is it? It's also over the natural. This DT did find some damage. 2 kills so far. What is this? Oh, somebody else died in the main base. The DT attack not getting critical damage, I think. There is one more in the Prism, though. And additional observers were made, which you cannot blame ShoWTimE for. Not at all. DT in the natural again, gonna get a few probes before getting picked off. So the damage, it's mounting, actually. MaxPax up 8 workers right now. Could get even higher, bigger deficit. We have Templar Archives. More efficient usage for Archons, perhaps. Save on some of those minerals for the Charged Zealots. ShoWTimE still just Stalkers, though. As well, if a Terran were to make nothing but Marines, would you make fun of them? You might. You'd say, that's not a legitimate composition. What is this? Playing a late game TVT with just Marines? No way. That doesn't work. PvP, though, it's a poker game of madness. Anything goes. It's just a question of, do you surprise your opponent with it? ShoWTimE, at long last, gonna head across. start to do some damage. The Phoenix gonna lift up some of these Stalkers. The Zealots connecting the Archons, angrily zapping the Stalkers that are held up into the air, while the Immortals come in and do most of the heavy lifting. Zealots again connect the Phoenix, trying to pin some of these Stalkers down. The Phoenix actually going to be picked off. Over on the other side, MaxPax's Zealots not finding too much damage to be done. ShoWTimE losing quite a bit of Stalkers. How many did you lose? 14 Stalkers. Ouch. MaxPax's composition. The Immortals, very anti-Stalker, obviously. Zealots, mildly anti-Stalker. Archons, mildly anti-Stalker. ShoWTimE definitely is not out of this. It's going to be a bit of a question of how ShoWTimE controls the Stalkers. 4 Immortals, that's a bit scary. Nothing to balk at. Additional Stalkers going to be warped in. There is a battery here, and a decent arc from the red Protoss. Warp in reinforcements for MaxPax, who's going to have to start backing up. I don't like this position for MaxPax. Back up, try and get your own little bit of a concave. The Stalker's not going to take the bait, though. Start to blink back. Shuffling their blink. Zealots break off to the left side. The dial-up pylon, connecting eventually. May warp in something. Have to be a little careful with these Immortals. They're small legs. They cannot keep up with the rest of the forces. MaxPax's gonna have to try and protect them. Zealots over on the left side, going to be beaten by Zealots with battery support. Ah yes, this is the PvP battle we all know and love. Zealots v Zealots. Do you know they have the same movement speed? Makes it very tough to actually chase and catch each other. I think going into this ramp is not a great idea for really anybody, but more so MaxPax. The Immortals gonna start to shuffle up. The Stalkers have a great concave, blinking forward, picking off one of the Immortals. The Zealots over on the left side will eventually be cleaned up. ShoWTimE looking to have a decent defense. Some Zealots do find their way into the natural. Overcharge used, keeping the cannon alive. The Prism still alive, not finding too much success yet though. Workers killed only 19. MaxPax is up quite a bit though, 92 probes. MaxPax, I don't think you need more probes, but he's maybe he knows more, maybe he knows better. 94 probes. If we can get 100, ooh, heck yes. We'll see. DT blinks on the way, +3 attack across the board. Quit making probes. You have 94 probes. The only reasonable idea I can think of at this point in time is you go up to 100 probes, getting mostly minerals, and you just start wave after wave of charge lots. Treat it like a Zerg build. I get my 97 drones, and I can make banelings upon banelings. I mean, look at this. A lot of charged Zealots make their way over to the left side. ShoWTimE gonna have to start to back up a little bit. The Prism moves in. Not a good time. Zealots, Archons, and Immortals, the composition of choice. Might find a little bit of success. The double battery, double cannon wombo defense combo, though. A little tough to break through. DT Blink just finished up. I don't think there's a few DTs actually just warped in at that dial-up pylon to the north. ShoWTimE trying to get in, trying to find an opening. Not good quite yet, though. These DTs, they do have Blink. How will they use it? For nefarious purposes, of course. Blinking on top of the cannon, gonna kill any semblance of defense and detection, forcing a recall. Some of the DT's gonna split. ShoWTimE blinking up to the high ground, gonna block their movement though. Very nice. Well, this is awkward. The DT's warp in, gonna be able to hit this Nexus a little bit though. Forced to cancel, barely. Not actually sure if ShoWTimE needed to cancel that, but I agree with the panic decision. MaxPax taking the opportunity, moving a bit more forward. Disruptors have shown themselves, and suddenly, MaxPax has 23 Stalkers. Shifting into a Stalker Disruptor battle, saying, I'm not getting enough. You hit 100 probes. Really? 100 probes, okay. We're there. We'll deal with it now. At least you have some probes to lose in case things start to go badly. The reason I make such a fuss about it is you have only 100 supply to dedicate to your army then. Oh, blinking forward disruptors caught unguarded. Gonna be picked off. With less supply to commit to your army, the engagements start to become a bit more tense, we'll say, especially when you're fielding heavy supply units like Immortals and Archons. Switching over to the Stalker Disruptor may prove fine though. Disruptors, of course, an amazing comeback unit. Get their damage essentially for free. The problem is it's an all or nothing gamble. They can be great, they can be fantastic, highlight clips worthy of 1 million views, or they can do absolutely nothing and prove to be nothing more than a decorative paperweight. Some probes gonna be picked off though. ShoWTimE, MaxPax starting to lose some of his own. Oh, evacuating right through the Stalkers. The Nexus gonna be picked off. Disruptor shots going out. Doesn't look like MaxPax has had any major connections yet though. Overcharged, used, and expires. Oh, ShoWTimE has disruptors of his own. ShoWTimE also getting a bit more damage done. 21 probes have fallen. MaxPax, you should say thank you. I'd like to put that supply into more disruptors, perhaps. Blinking forward. Most of ShoWTimE's force going to be picked off. ShoWTimE focusing that Nexus down. Meanwhile, group number 2 over here on the right side. Cannons, batteries. Well, I don't think they would have held the line. Ooh, that's a questionable overcharge. But MaxPax was on his way, of course. The cannons and batteries great at alerting the player. Tense disruptor shots. Oh, the Zealots grouping up a little bit, blinking forward, picking off one of them, gonna lose a couple in return. Not enough Stalkers. The dial-up pylon was eventually destroyed. And I don't think a prism has come back out yet. No. No replacement prism for MaxPax. Disruptors. Oof. The Archon walking into range of the cannon. Gonna be picked off. Some of the Stalkers trying to blink away. ShoWTimE might be trying to head him off at the other entrance though. A lot of Zealots. Who's winning the Disruptor War? MaxPax with 5 and decent connections so far, picking off a few into the Stalkers. ShoWTimE blinking forward though, hitting those exposed Disruptors at the back. The count is now even. 3-3. And a very ambitious Nexus needs to be cancelled. There we go. MaxPax sending some Zealots over to the other side. You destroy my base? Well, fine. I will destroy your toys. Recall. Likely on the main army. Most of the main army. A decent chunk of the main army. DT's warping in somewhere. Those are Zealots. There's the DTs. Is there an observer? There is an observer here. Not going to find any success. MaxPax instead blinking up towards the central base. Nexus will be destroyed quite quickly. And I don't think ShoWTimE has enough to commit to the defense just yet, and opting to instead get aggressive. This has heated up. DTs somehow made their way into the main base up here. Might start to pick off some pylons. MaxPax blinking forward towards this expo. Might get flanked though, might get surrounded. Oh, solid connection, and gonna opt to try and retreat up the ramp. ShoWTimE in hot pursuit, though. Disruptors picked off before they can connect. The Dark Templar vandalizing the base. The production in peril. Stalkers. Oh, Zealots over on the left side. Protoss units going in every direction. I feel like I'm just shouting random Protoss words. Stalkers. Disruptors. Blink. Purification Nova. And it works, doesn't it? DT, you get that assimilator. Assimilate this, will ya? Blinking down, gonna start to hit the cannon. Overcharge used for the defense, though. Both of these players out of their minds. 435 average appums. Jeez. Busy Protoss. Tense PvP. Anytime it gets to this Stalker Disruptor, it feels a bit tense. I like that MaxPax has been trying to weave in other aspects, though. Ooh, careful with that Nova. Well, get a few Stalkers for your trouble. Forced to retreat back. What's going on over here? The Dark Templar hit squad. ShoWTimE in dedicated pursuit, though, picking off a couple of Disruptors. That's a lot of Zealots. Their lives for ire. Where's the Observer? There's no more Observers. What? Where? How did all the Observers die? There's 2 in production, 2 at a time. Necessary. The Dark Templar, though, having their way with the place up here. Well, not for long. Double Observer for twice the vision. Gonna deal with that. ShoWTimE Zealot run by. Not going to be effective just yet. Some of those forces split off. DT's running all over the place. These two are making me busy. Jesus. Alright. How's the dust settling? A lot of resources lost in favor of ShoWTimE, though. Income. Wow, ShoWTimE. You need some geysers, my dude. Income's in favor of MaxPax, so that is a point. Upgrades in favor of ShoWTimE. Stalker count, well, composition's pretty even. Gonna come down to a bit of control. ShoWTimE double expanding. Trying to retake some of those bases. The Dark Templar going to be dealt with. Possibly. Absolutely confirmed. I think this is gonna come down to a bit of army control. Well, I don't know. I don't like committing onto this. Not when you know MaxPax's army is right there. Instead, try and get some damage done on the other side. This base unprotected. Only 1 pylon. We're going to hit the unpowered battery. It's an attack move. Ooh, not paying quite enough attention to all of these different pieces, and we cannot blame them. There is way too much to keep track of. The Zealots, was this stuff recalled, or did it just blink over here? I'm not sure. Either way, it's going to force the right base to be destroyed. DTs. There's no detection, I'm guessing. Blinking around. ShoWTimE. You need more observers. Down to 41 probes. Up on army supply, though. Disruptor count, even. As long as ShoWTimE doesn't take too much more damage, I don't think ShoWTimE's out of this. Ooh, decent disruptor hits. I think one of those was friendly fire, though. MaxPax pushing a bit towards the top side. Gonna get rid of this newly printed base. This one was retaken. Geysers functional. Observer. Left to watch over. Can you see? Yeah, see if this is retaken at any point. Keeping eyes over everything. Resources lost, still in favor of ShoWTimE. That is a point. Definitely a point in favor. MaxPax does have 1 more disruptor. Bit more stalkers, though. Ooh, fire, everything. ShoWTimE catching most of these disruptors. Broadside. Gonna take out a lot of the stalkers, but also losing 5 of the 7 disruptors. That's a pretty big hit. Without the disruptors, this becomes mostly about the stalkers and zealots, and ShoWTimE does have a lot more zealots. MaxPax gonna opt, try and go to the other side. ShoWTimE getting damage done over here, gonna shut down the robo production. There will be no more disruptors. And with ShoWTimE being up on disruptors, I think that might be a blessing. Don't know if the armies will come to blows. These two disruptors don't have any guards. ShoWTimE blinks on top of them, gonna pick both of them off. 0 disruptors now. 1. Where's the 1? Figuring out its existence. Damage being done, the Dark Templar Zealot combo. Overcharge gonna help to deal with that. MaxPax is gonna tap out. ShoWTimE takes the game. There was so much going on. Ooh. Holy moly, you two. PvP. Such a tense game. Very entertaining though. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day.